Let's get right into it. I got my man Sheen in the building today. What's going on, brother?
Yo, what up, man? How's everything, BMT?
Everything is excellent, man. Now, last time we saw you,
Right.
You was in the studio. And we talked about bodybuilding and everything like that. But now, currently, and I want to congratulate you, man, you are at your own bar in Pattaya, man.
Yes.
How does that feel to have, have ownership out here?
It feels good. I want to say this is probably like my 4th business out here in Thailand, so I'm accustomed to it. But this particular business is a whole lot different from real estate, the food truck and everything like this, whatever. This one right here is it's definitely the most profitable. I'll tell you that right now, just starting this thing off.
Okay. And I want to ask you about that because you own a few other businesses.
Yep.
You're saying that the bar is probably the most profitable out of all the ones you started because you had a food truck and then you had, what else you had?
The real estate company.
Okay,
the Crocodile Farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Crocodile Farm.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love crocodile meat. Yeah, okay. So you say that pretty much the bar is the most.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're looking at the profit margins on a daily consecutive time frame. You see what I'm saying? So you're looking at 30 days, 31 days, depending on the month. And right now we're averaging, I don't want to throw the numbers out there, whatever, but we're doing over 700 a day.
Okay.
So we weren't doing that in the real estate. You see what I'm saying? So at the most, we were probably selling a property once every 2-3 months. You see what I'm saying? But our main target was, hey, let's go ahead and get these tenants in these condos. Let's get these tenants in these houses. Mm-hmm. But now the whole dynamic shifted once I got into this particular style of business. The bar game.
And just in general, is it hard, like starting a business here in Thailand?
If you know the right people. Mm-hmm. If you know the right people, and you do things the right way and get the lawyers involved. That's the number one thing I tell people. Hey, get the lawyers involved. That's going to protect you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as far as like ownership, do you have to have like a special type of visa? Is it the visa first or the ownership first? How does that work?
So it depends on how you're positioned currently at the moment when you're actually looking at ownership or whatever, right? So you could be a partner, silent partner. Hey, you just invest your money, your name's not gonna be in the paperwork. That's when you have to do business with the right people, right? Mm-hmm. But if you wanna actually start the business yourself, you still have that problem, or not the problem, but you still have that dilemma of 4951. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of people is like, yo, hey, as a foreigner, I only have 49%, mm-hmm. and the Thai has a 51%, and they think that they're automatically at a disadvantage. No, that's where you get the lawyers involved. Make sure that the paperwork is drafted and generated the right way. Okay. So where it protects you. Okay,
so you're saying you just got to have your lawyer situation straight before you even generally get into business out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, there's some people that come out here and they're like, hey, I want to open up a business to where I don't want locals inside the business. I haven't seen that before. You see what I'm saying? I've heard about people saying that, hey, I know so-and-so that did it, but I haven't actually met a business owner that said, hey, I own my company 100% outright. There's no ties and none of the paperwork. I haven't seen that.
Okay. I've heard that, but you say you have seen it personally.
Right.
Okay. And, on YouTube, you hear like a lot of horror stories about, guys or foreigners pretty much opening up bars and they're not successful, the money not what it is. What do you think those guys did wrong per se?
I don't know, mm-hmm. because I wasn't in contact with them, so I don't know exactly what their shortfalls were, mm-hmm. or their shortcomings, right? But I will tell you this, mm-hmm. in order to have a successful bar, you need women, you need a pool table, and you need cold drinks. That is the appetite for success right there. Those 3 things. That's what you need. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, if you don't have those aspects, you're not going to have a profitable business. No, what I'm saying is, if you want an extremely good, lucrative business, you need a combination of all 3 of those.
Okay. And usually, in my opinion, I mean, I've never owned a bar, but, I used to promote bars and stuff back in the day. Even sometimes in Medellin, I promote different bars and everything. Usually from what I've seen, and this is pretty much worldwide, it's like the mismanagement of money sometimes.
Okay.
Because everywhere has like a low season.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you got to prepare for the low season basically, because Pattaya is seasonal.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
I think guys like see the money, they're like, oh man, this is gonna always be like this. And then, after Chinese New Year, it's like dead. Then you got Songkran, and after Songkran, it's dead. But when it's good, it's good. I think if you can weather through those times, I think you'll be all right.
Right. So, like you said, everything happens in seasons out here, right? You have high season, you have low season, right? So what I noticed when you're looking at doing business, and I'm gonna give you a gem right now. So when you look at businesses, a lot of businesses are created. Talking about new businesses, a lot of new businesses are created during the low season. That's when they do the renovations. They go ahead, get everything established during the low season. So as soon as you hit high season and you roll over that, the tourist starts coming in. Now they sell the business at a profit. So it might have took you like 10,000 USD to actually get this thing up and running. You go ahead, get your staff in there, they're operating. Now you have a proof of concept. Now you turn around, you sell it for 15, 20,000 USD because high season comes and now everybody's coming back into Thailand with money in the bank and they're like, yo, hey, I want to invest. So some people get burned off investments. Some people, hey, they have successful businesses or successful business transactions.
Okay. And also, man, like, what's like I don't know if you own a bar or club in the States, but
No.
what's the big difference in, maybe the clientele in, New York versus all the way out here in Pattaya? Like, far as the music, do you have to cater to different ethnic groups? Like, what if you get a busload of Indians and then the next day you get a busload of people from the UK? Like, how does that work?
So let's go back to your previous question because I didn't finish it. I know it's kind of long-winded, but I didn't finish it, right? It's how do you prepare for those droughts or the low season, right? So with us, we're a crypto bar, right? So we accept crypto.
Oh, nice.
So what we do is we go ahead, we invest 5% of our monthly gross into crypto. So now we already did the projections. Only thing we need to do is to generate a total of 12,000 before we hit low season. And now that 12,000 is going to offset, is going to cover our rent for 8 months.
Okay.
So that's our strategy, and I'll share that with you guys. That's where you prepare and you make sure that you have no problems, no issues once you roll into the low season to where the tourists aren't coming in as if it was back in high season.
Okay. And like, as far as like catering to different groups, is it more like a hip hop crowd, or do you have to kind of switch it up sometimes?
So it's my clientele it's real different, right? So when you look at the majority of the people that's coming through the bars, spending money, enjoying themselves, talking to the ladies and stuff, we're looking at white males, pretty much from Europe, 50 years old and older. Now, mind you, I have young chicks too. You see what I'm saying? But that is the majority of my clients that are coming in and, customers spending money. Now, yesterday, and it's funny, so we was kind of like up and down yesterday. And like around like 2:15, I was talking to my cashier and I was like, yo, hey, at 2:30, we're going to shut it down. So she's like, all right, cool. So we're actually starting to shut down. Next, six Indian guys walked in. Hey, we stayed open till 4:30. You see what I'm saying? Because they were spending money. You know what I mean? So our demographic goes, we'll say white European males. And then underneath that, we'll probably say brothers, whether they're from England, America, France. And that's pretty much like my main clientele that comes in on a consecutive basis.